So what I'm going to do now is try to show you how the activity series works or how you're going to be using it. Remember, elements on top will replace elements below them. Elements on top will replace elements below them. Oh, that's really bad. Elements on top will replace elements below them. Yeah, that actually is supposed to say below them. It's been a long day. Below them. So let's take a look at some possible reactions and the activity series and see how this kind of all pans out. So I'm going to just write, for the heck of it, magnesium plus copper chloride, Mg plus CuCl2. And I have no idea if this reaction proceeds or not. So what I do is I take out the activity series and I locate magnesium. Magnesium is here. Now I locate copper. Copper is here. Magnesium is above copper. Magnesium's way up here, copper's down there. So the element on the top and the element which is lower down will change places, since the element on top will replace an element below it. So that is going to produce MgCl2 plus copper. So copper is the guy that's gone off to the bar by himself because magnesium has cut in to dance with chlorine. So that reaction proceeds. And all we had to do was look at the activity series. Now, how about if we write another one? Silver plus HCl. Will that proceed? Well, to know if that's going to proceed, we have to find silver on the activity series, and it's way down here. These elements don't react, and they sure don't react with acids. Reacting with acids stops here. Since hydrochloric acid is just that, it's an acid, we write no reaction. Or what's even easier is the infamous NR. You want questions like that on your test on a free response part. All you write NR. Let's try another one. Nickel plus sodium sulfide, Na2S. Will that reaction proceed? All right, so we locate nickel. Nickel is right here. And sodium is here. Where's sodium? Here's sodium, here's nickel. So we're looking at these two. Nickel is alone, and it is lower than sodium. So with this one, we were looking at the side information. Here, we're looking at the activity series itself. Nickel is low, sodium is high. The element that is on the top is not by itself. The element that's by itself is lower, so that reaction does not proceed. So we have a big fat NR for that. Now let's take a look at one that's going to confuse everybody. Let's take a look at sodium iodide, NaI, plus Cl2. Does this react? We don't have two metals in this reaction. We have two halogens. I've got iodine and chlorine. So I'm going over to look at this activity series. Here's iodine, here's chlorine, and the element which is by itself is chlorine, and it is higher than iodine. That means this reaction will proceed. If you make iodine as an element, it has to be shown as I2. It's one of the diatomic elements. And sodium chloride would be the other element, or the compound we would make, and we'd actually have to balance this guy by putting 2's. But since sodium is alone, and chlorine is alone, and chlorine is higher, it will replace sodium, or the iodine. Whoa. These can be written any order. I could have put Cl2 first and NaI second. I could have flipped any of these around. The order in which you write the reactants does not matter. Let's take a look at one more. Since I'm already on a roll with sodium, let's take a look at sodium with water. Now, the sidebar says, the stuff in here, says these elements, of which sodium is one, will react with cold water and they will replace hydrogen. So what the heck does that mean? Let's look at water instead of H2O is H and then OH. Sodium reacts with water. Sodium is +1 when it forms an ion. Hydrogen is +1 when it forms an ion. Sodium will replace the hydrogen in water. So sodium's going to bond with OH. So you have NaOH plus H2. That has to be balanced. To do that, we need 2 of these, 2 of these, and 2 of those. And that's balanced, but sodium has in fact, this Na has in fact replaced this H in water. You guys are going to practice on some of these, but that's how the activity series works.